Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today, and this one is the absolute thinnest Bible that I have in my collection. And when I say thin, I mean it is incredibly, incredibly thin. What this one is, it is a 1956 Collins Clear Type Press Fontana 16MO reference edition, in the King James Version, obviously. That seems to be about all there was back then. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and take a look at it. We'll start here with the box. I do have a side note. I did review the Fontana before, but it was, I don't know if it was an older version or a less expensive edition or what have you, but it was certainly nowhere near as thin as this edition is. That's why I kind of wanted to show this one off. But one thing to note is that I showed a box in that video for the Fontana, and the box was an incorrect box. I don't know how I didn't catch it, but the box says Harper on it, and it gives a Harper item number with a Collins Bible. So for whatever reason, the person that mailed me that Bible, they must have just put it into that box. And that box does not go with that Bible. So I'm going to have to post a little note somewhere in that video to give everybody a heads up that Bible does not go with that box. So thankfully, this box does go with this Bible. And hopefully I won't make that mistake in the future. It was pretty obvious, so I don't know how I made it. But let's take a look at the box. It is very similar to the other one that we saw, but it's like a blue textured box. And it's a two-piece box. We do have a little kind of card here in the end. And it says Collins Fontana Reference Edition F2491X, and that's the model number. And then you have ultra thin Bible, which it is very ultra thin, with India paper. And then it says French Morocco leather, even though weirdly it is stamped with genuine leather. So I'm not sure why they stamped it genuine leather and then marked as French Morocco here. I don't know. But it is also listed as a King James version, and it is made in Great Britain. Now it is a two-piece box. The underside of the box is just like a plain white. I like how it has the little finger cutouts there. It makes it easier to open the box. But you'll notice too that this box does have these little things to kind of hold the Bible in place. And these are like almost like a what do you call that? Like a foam that's used for insulation, like what you would put like on maybe your window or your door to kind of keep the cold air out. So weirdly enough, that's what they used. But certainly better than a block of wood. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Bible. I'm going to try and hide how thin it is from you guys so I can surprise you when you finally see it. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the front cover leather here. And you can see it does have a very nice grain. It's got a nice matte finish. There's a little perimeter liner on the edge. And it does have Holy Bible kind of imprinted off center in the kind of standard Collins way. And it is a nice deep imprint. Yeah, so very nice. Now, for the reveal. This thing, I kid you not, this is super thin. Now remember, this is the entire Bible. This is not a New Testament. And I certainly have New Testament Bibles that are much thicker than this. So, look at this. Look how incredibly thin this is. Here's a Sharpie by comparison, right? It is just a smidgen chunkier than a Sharpie. Insane how thin, absolutely thin this Bible is. But on this Bible, the perimeter line does continue around the spine, and it does have 5 hubs there that are kind of indicated. They're not raised or anything. They're pressed down, but they are nicely pressed down, so you kind of can feel them. And it does say Holy Bible in Collins on the bottom there. On the back, we do have the continuation of those perimeter lines and that very beautiful grain. Very nice grain, especially for a genuine leather or French Morocco. I don't know what they're considering it, but either way. As far as the other details go, we do have a white head and tail band, and it is kind of a woven fabric head and tail band. It's different from what we normally see, and I kind of like that look of the little woven material there. We do have a gilt there, and it is a very shiny gilt. I would imagine that this is a real true gold gilt because it is has a very nice luster. Now, as far as the ribbon goes, it is one single-sided, kind of really dark navy blue. I don't know if that's coming across on the camera, but it's like a very dark navy blue ribbon there. And it's, like I said, single-sided satin. And it's like a thicker ribbon, albeit it's narrow. But, I feel like this is an appropriate size for such a thin Bible. So, a nice ribbon, nonetheless. Open it up and see. The inside, you can see there's an interior perimeter line as well. You can see the corner work there. It's a paste-down liner, and there is kind of like this synthetic textured paper. This does not feel, sorry, I said paper. It's not paper, but it's like a synthetic material. I'm not sure what it is. It doesn't really feel like paper. And there's some reinforcement tape there in the center. Take a look at the back for more of the same. The corner work there and the perimeter line going around. And again, you do have genuine leather imprinted there on the bottom. So we'll open it up. A very thick couple of sheets here, very thick. And then you have your title page. At the bottom, you can see there it is marked with Fontana 16MO refs on India paper. So obviously it's India paper. It does have center column references. Fontana is the model number, and then 16MO is the size, which would be kind of one order of magnitude smaller than an 8VO. So the 8VO is the Octavo. I'm not sure what the actual name is for 16MO, but this is like the next size down from, say, like a long primer or something like that. Here we have our copyright information. I just want to pause that and read that. And it is printed in Great Britain. We have our epistle dedicatory. Here's our table of contents, the table of signs that are used, and then we have the first book of Moses called Genesis. Gets right into it. So we'll turn a couple pages here. Actually, we'll kind of go to here and see if it has overcast stitching. It does not have overcast stitching. Oh, nope, it does. It does have overcast stitching. Way deep down in there. Way deep down in there. There's some overcast stitching. I don't know if you guys can even see that. It's deep in there. But we'll take a look. So we have the book names and the chapter numbers, and it's nice because they do include both chapter numbers here that are on the page, right? So you have Genesis 16 and 17, and then Genesis 15 here indicated. It appears to just be the chapters that actually start on the page, because here's the remainder of chapter 14. It's not indicated up here. There are running headers up on the top gutter. You have your page numbers in the bottom center. There's no chapter summaries here at the beginning of the chapters. It's just kind of a clean thing there. I'll show you the Pilgrim markers that they're using right there to indicate a new paragraph, and then we'll take a look at the text, and you guys can see the center column references that they're using and how they're implementing those. So a very nice reference suite. It's got a ton of references there. I love it. Kind of flip through a little bit. We'll get to the poetic section. Not that there's going to be much poetry. I mean, not that there's going to be much in the way of the poetic section. We'll get to Psalm 119 here at the beginning of it. You can see there's Psalm 119. I'll take a closer look at the paper. And again, it is India paper, so I mean, we can expect outstanding things from this as we see. Now, given how thin this edition is, it's really surprising how little show-through there is. I mean, you can see a little haziness kind of here and there, but it's very minimal, especially considering really, again, how thin this edition is, because this paper is to be contended with how thin it is. I mean, it's a very nice paper, right? Obviously, it has a great opacity, right? And it's fairly smooth. It's fairly smooth paper. Not quite, like a New Cambridge, but it's still very smooth, especially for the time period. But, I mean, it's got to be low 20 GSM easily. Now, the problem is for me, when it gets to be that low of a GSM and the fact that it's also smooth, the pages tend to stick together, and it tends to get very hard to just turn a single page. It's kind of easy to leaf through, a chunk of them. But if you're just trying to turn 1 or 2 pages at a time, it can get kind of fidgety, So let's try and get to the New Testament here. There we go, right to it. So we have the end of Malachi, the end of the Old Testament, and then we have, nope, it's not. See, I can barely tell. There we go. A single sheet of blank paper, and then we have the New Testament title page there. There you are. And we have the Gospel according to Matthew. Now, this is a black letter text, so there's nothing to really see there. So, no reason to be offended, y'all. Calm down with your red letter text hating. We'll get to the end of the Bible. I believe there's not much back there. Yep, there we go. So you have the end of the Bible, Revelation 22, and then it goes right into your maps. No gazetteer or anything like that. No sort of indexing or anything. See the kind of old school maps there, what we've gotten used to seeing lately. And it is on a nice kind of thick matte map paper. I'm not a fan of these pastel colors. I said that recently in another video. This isn't my most favorite color scheme, but it's what was used back then. So I guess it is what it is, right? I'm certainly not going to go back and reprint this edition. I don't even think I'd be able to find paper of this quality. Then at the end, we do have kind of a thick end sheet there, and then just your 5 of these. Oh, nope, sorry, two blank sheets, thick blank sheets, which is nice if you want to take notes or whatever. And then you have your end sheet there with the product code, which is F24991X there in the bottom. And that wraps up. So let's go ahead and get you guys some measurements. And this one comes in at 7 1/4 inches tall by 5 1/8 inches wide. And here's the real doozy. Goodness, I'm going to be able to measure this. It is just over 1.5 inches. It's close to what would that be? Like 5/8 of an inch. It's 5/8 of an inch thick, just over 1/2 inch. That's insane to me. It is so thin, so trim. I don't believe that I have any other full editions of the Bible that are this thin. I'm trying to think, and I don't think I do. I think this is tops. This is king of the hill, so to speak, as far as thin editions go. Yeah, very thin. Yeah, like I said before, actually, let's take a look at the fonts right quick before we get into that. Yeah, Mom. Ooh, look how stiff. There we go. There we go. All right, we'll take a look at the uppercase letters first. We'll do the B here and bless. And it looks to be about a 7-point font. Yeah, about a 7-point font for the uppercase versus Times New Roman. I'll look at the M in Ministers here. Where'd it go? There we went. And thankfully it's a little larger for the lowercase. The lowercase appears to be about an 8-point font versus Times New Roman. So I always go with the lowercase, obviously, because there's more lowercase letters than uppercase. So an 8-point font for this, which is great. I mean, especially considering how thin it is. I mean, this certainly gives the Pitt Minion a run for its money. It is very thin. It is, you know, nice and small. I mean, not super small, but it's a good portable size. So definitely good font size for that. Now, like I said, I had previously reviewed a Collins Fontana edition. So I have the one that I previously reviewed, and I also have a Pitt Minion to compare them all to, just so you guys can see how absolutely trim and small this edition is. And you can see it right there. I mean, this is a Pitt Minion on top. This is the previous Fontana that I reviewed, and then this is the newest, thinnest one. So they're right there at the same exact size as far as width goes to the Pitt Minion. And as far as height goes, I mean, they're right there as well with the Pitt Minion, right? But really, the craziness comes in here on thickness. So you can see the Pitt Minion is small, obviously. I mean, it's always been known as a small edition, right? And then you have this original Fontana. I'm assuming what's an older Fontana. And it's just, you know, if it's not as thick as this Pitt Minion, it might be just a hair thinner. But then you have this updated Fontana with that super thin paper. And I mean, it's just like half the thickness of a Pitt Minion. And that's hard to believe considering this is a full Bible, right? I mean, it's incredible. Now, let's take a look at these two Fontanas just for the font size. I'm not too sure if the font size is the same between both. One thing I do miss is this beautiful red undergold art gilt. I would have loved it if this edition would have had it. Yes, it does appear that the pagination is exactly the same. Now, this older edition of the Fontana definitely has a more like a bolder font, I should say. I wonder if the camera's picking it up, but this is definitely kind of a cleaner and thinner font. You know, don't get me wrong, the print is nice on it, but this is definitely like more bold than this font. So for whatever reason, not sure why, you know, they kind of, you know, differed a little bit there. Now, one thing that I noticed is even though the pagination is the same, you can see here where it says St. Luke, right? So this is one of those things. You can see here how the S in Saint is kind of blobby, and this S has been cleaned up. So I don't know if they just went, you know, kept the pagination, but maybe went to a different font or digitized the font or whatever they did. But this may be kind of an updated, cleaned up version of that text. And then we will take a look at a Pitt Minion, current Pitt Minion. Now this is an NLT Pitt Minion, so it's not going to be apples to apples. We can see the difference here. So let me get in frame. There we go. So this current Pitt Minion, definitely the text is even lighter than this thinner Fontana, right? So the Fontana is going to have a darker font. And as far as text size goes, this appears to be a little bit larger on the text size versus a Pitt Minion, despite the fact that it's thinner, right? Much thinner, which again is, you know, that's the benefit of having this older India paper. It's just really, you can do some really outstanding things with it as far as thickness is concerned. So yeah, just an interesting find there. Bible Buddies, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. If you want to see comparisons to anything, your time is going to be getting short because I'm getting to the point where I want to start moving my Bibles along, and I will be, if you guys have stuck around to the end of the video, you get, I guess, a sneak preview or whatever, sneak peek, upcoming, whatever, a teaser. But I'm going to be putting a lot of these Bibles that you guys have seen reviews for on eBay up for sale. So if you guys are interested in purchasing any of these Bibles, you know, certainly just keep your eyes open, and you know, I'll probably post something, maybe like a little, I don't know, like not a story or like do a little YouTube post or something like that when they're going to go live, just to give everybody a fair chance. And I'll probably do it for like midday on a Saturday or something, just in case somebody really wants an edition. I want to kind of make it as fair as possible. You know, I know not everybody's going to have the kind of the same circumstances as everyone else, but yeah, so that'll be something to look out for. Bible Buddies. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, all that cool YouTube stuff, it would be much appreciated. Until next time, bye.